Every man in my family disappears at age 18. I turn 18 in 3 hours. It runs along my mom's side of the family, the whole disappearing stuff. I figured out about it when I was 12. I was helping organize the basement when a bunch of old photo albums spilled out of a box. I grumbled some words my mom would have smacked me for if she'd overheard them before I started picking them up. One of them had flopped open, and I paused when I realized I recognized the little girl in the picture. It was my mom. It was so weird seeing her as a child, with pigtails and missing teeth, but I could recognize the shape of her eyes. I figured I could take a break and started going through the album. Mom didn't talk about her family all that much, and curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. I saw Mom playing with her siblings, 3 older brothers and 2 sisters. I saw her sitting on her mom's lap as she tried to learn how to play the piano. And I saw the first family photo. Her oldest brother was probably in his late teens, and he had his arm giving my mom a noogie on her head. Her brothers were constantly picking on her, and she looked damn near ready to kill them in every single photo. They were quite somber photos, something you'd expect out of the Victorian era rather than the 80s. No one was smiling except for my mom. On the next page, her oldest brother was gone. There were no more pictures of him. There weren't any pictures of a funeral or anything. It was just like he ceased to exist. Time marched on. My mom went from pigtails to ponytails. There was a photo of her very first piano recital. Her other brothers seemed all right, although the second oldest got more and more somber over the years. He seemed like the life of the party before the oldest brother just disappeared. Now he was at the edge of photos, never smiling, never excited. His time came to an end with a family photo too. My mom wasn't smiling this time. I think by then she knew something was wrong. This wasn't a family photo to commemorate something happy. It was to have one final image to remember him by. He disappeared from her life after that picture, like he'd never been there in the first place. The final brother seemed as carefree as ever, but he was the one closest in age to my mom, probably only a year or so more. If anything, he seemed more present in her photos than ever. Maybe he was trying to get as much time together before the end. My mom went from a little pigtailed girl to a gangly, nerdy teenager with braces and pimples. Her final brother seemed to skip the awkward and went right to being cool. I bet he was the most popular kid in his class, but he still spent all his time with his baby sister. The final family photo, my mom couldn't hold it together. Rather than the serious, somber photo the other two had been, the photo blurred with motion as my mom clung to her brother. Tears were running down her face while her family all balked around her. That wasn't how it was supposed to go. They were all supposed to pose nicely and have one final image of their son. Instead, my mom was weeping as her brother clung back onto her. The joyful, cool image of him from before crumbling away to a scared teenager who knew what was coming, but had no way to go against it. It was at that picture my mom came down into the basement, probably to check on my progress. The moment she saw what I was looking at, her face fell. I put the album away and asked my mom what happened to her brothers. I cannot forget the look on her face. She looked dead. Sure, her brothers were the ones who had gone, but she was the one who had to survive without them. They're gone now. They want the boys. She refused to explain who they was and fled into her bedroom. She locked the door behind her and didn't come back out for hours. When she did, she asked me not to talk about it, begged me to just leave it be, so I did. As her one and only child, her only son, I left it alone. At first I went on as normal, but I couldn't let it go. I did my research. The missing person reports took a bit to dig up, but they were all there. Michael, John, Warren. All 3 had vanished the night they turned 18. The cases were currently colder than ice. No sign of them had ever turned up. No sightings, no suspicious bodies. They were gone. They wanted them. I didn't know what they were, and I didn't think I'd find out until tonight. But I had a date for my last day on Earth, so I decided to use my time well. I stopped making college plans and instead started focusing on the here and now. I volunteered almost every weekend. If I wasn't at the soup kitchen feeding the homeless, I was at the animal shelter helping socialize the dogs. After school time, I went out of my way to hang out with the kids that no one hung out with. I ended up making some shocking friends, people I never would have given the time of day to before I found out I was doomed. I joined the photography club. I actually won some local contests with my photos. I tried to inspire other people to get into something creative, something fun, not to be good at it, just to have a good time. Above all, I prioritized time with my mom. I'm the only real family she has. Maybe I was a bit of a mama's boy, but it didn't matter. I didn't want to leave this world without making a difference. I think I did, and I had some fun doing it too. Few more hours. It's so strange. The last years both stretched on forever and also seemed to happen in the blink of an eye. I don't know what I feel. I'm certainly not ready to die or be abducted by whatever, but I don't have a choice as far as I know. My mom is a wreck. So I've decided to do one final thing. I asked her to come down to the basement to show her what I'd set up. Pictures, hundreds of photos of the last few years. Pictures of us laughing, of us crying, of us just going about our day. I'm just leaving in person, Mom. You'll always have these memories. I smiled. Maybe I'll be able to watch over you from where I go. If I can, I will. I love you, Mom. She sobbed, but I think I did make her feel a bit better. I told her again and again how much I loved her. She whispered to me in my ear, I had to repay them some way. I left her in the basement. She doesn't need to see what'll happen to me. I'm sitting in my room now realizing I never thought to beat the Ender Dragon on my Minecraft SMP with my friends. What a dumb thing to get hung up on, but I was having a good time with it. I would try playing it right now, but it's a bit hard to focus. I can hear it. They're crawling in the windows, the doors. They're pacing back and forth, waiting for the clock to strike midnight. Their knocks sound like they're cracking the window. There's no escaping it. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna hide. I think I'm just gonna go to sleep, because if everyone agrees on one thing, the best way to go is in your sleep.